wasn't the fastest thing in the world, but it did get you there. And it took about 3 days.
Yep. It took, I think it took us more than 3 days. But nonetheless, we got there. Our first stop was in California. We spent the night at Travis. Our second stop was in Hawaii. We spent the night there. Then we stopped by Guam, refueled. We stopped at Wake Island, where we spent the night. Then we went to Cebu, Philippines, and spent the night. And then on into Tansanut.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, the C-130s, they did a lot more stops than the C-141s. So. But they could haul stuff the C-141 couldn't. So.
Exactly.
Right. So how many people in the advance party? Generally half a dozen?
Well, there were on this ship, on this C-133, there were 3 of us.
Okay.
We had a lieutenant, we had one of the crew chief, and myself.
All right. And there were no other
2 gunships.
Oh, okay, fine. And so there were no other human beings on that other than the crew?
That's correct.
All right, fine. Now,
just the Air Force crew and the 3 of us.
Okay. Well, that's actually cool, because you you weren't competing with a lot of other people, so you could find food fast and do everything else fast. When you got a bigger...
Yeah, except heat.
Oh, yeah. I remember they're not notoriously warm back there. Yeah.
No.
At any rate, so that's cool. Now, the rest of the advance party usually is either the commander or real close to it. A couple of senior officers and a couple of senior NCOs. You remember? And they...
The crew?
Yeah.
The crew, are you referring to?
No. The rest of the advance party from your company.
When we got there, when I arrived there, the only other one, we were the very first to arrive.
Okay.
To arrive with aircraft. One second, just one moment. We were the first arrived with aircraft. We had there were, I think, 2 or 3 other people that arrived there before us, and that was a maintenance sergeant and a couple of his people. They didn't fly over with equipment. They flew over I probably on a 141 or whatever. But myself and the other 2, we were the first 3 to come with an aircraft. And I believe the lieutenant that was with us was the first officer to arrive into our company area.
All right, fine. Yeah. And so, what was that like? Now, you said Tansanut, but I think you really meant Long Bin.
No. We arrived at Tansanut Airport.
Okay, fine.
And our maintenance sergeant picked us up at Tansanut Airport, and there were 2 jeeps. One he was driving, one of his people was driving.
Yeah.
That took the lieutenant, and we went up to Benoit and past Long Bin and Benoit airfield and whatnot.
Okay, so they pull Hueys out from back into that thing and just leave them on the ramp someplace, and
yes,
and then the aircraft, it goes its merry way. So then you guys got to come back in the morning and start working on it. No,
that's not how it worked.
Okay. Well, how did it work?
didn't see the aircraft again until they were brought up from Tan Son Nhut. I believe a maintenance battalion at Tan Son Nhut, no doubt, put the mast on, put the rotors on, and flew them up. Now, whether, I don't think that they were not trucked up or anything like that, and we did not reassemble them ourselves. I know that for sure.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's curious. Clearly, the 101st had a battalion, a maintenance battalion, and their Echo company in those days was designed to take care of aircraft. And so they could have done they had the expertise and the tools and the authority to do that.
Right.
So,
because we didn't even stay around long enough to offload the aircraft.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, it takes specialized knowledge and equipment to do that. And so.
Well, we actually, Mike, we had done that when we were still at Fort Campbell. We did some field exercises where we would strip the aircraft, load them onto a C-130, and just one at a time, and fly them. We would end up in Texas on one occasion, down at Fort Bliss, Texas, on war games where we offloaded our aircraft, and then they stayed unassembled until we received word that it's a go. Now we got to put them together, and it's kind of like timed event and all that sort of thing. So we had the expertise to do that, but that's just not how it went. When we brought them over to Vietnam.
Uh-huh. So you go to Bien Hoa, and
yes.
You're going to stay there for a while. So how long is it before you see your airplanes?
Well, it was only. It seemed like it was only about a week, maybe at most. Probably a week and a half, maybe, because we were already flying missions before Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you go get farmed out to another unit to get orientation in flying in Vietnam?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Most of the pilots, they usually did that. And they'd farm you out before your aircraft were actually ready. So you'll see how the game's played with the pyramid. But you guys didn't do that. You just
as far as the crew chiefs, no. Okay. Now I can't speak for the pilots, but I can say that we were in country around the 9th, I want to say, of December, and we were flying combat ready and flying combat missions before Christmas.
Okay.
So if they did do that, it was a very brief orientation for them, if that was the case.
Yeah, well, normally those orientations were anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. Or they could be even shorter than that, but,
so they probably did that. I think when you speak to Tom Wood or Jerry Fry and whatnot, they'll be able to address that.
Yeah, all right, fine. So how quickly did the main party arrive?
Well, the main party was there probably by, I want to say around the 15th or so of December.
All right. So they came
somewhere around there.
And most of them probably came in on one C-141 or something like that.